probably a pretty solid flex for you. But any other guys in that flex range that you're looking at starting, Hines or on the Seattle side? Obviously, we're firing up Carson, DK, and Lockett, but who are you excited about maybe in that Seattle-Indianapolis matchup from a flex perspective? Any wide receivers there?
I mean, I definitely think Paris Campbell is definitely, especially with the injury to T.Y. Hilton. And, I mean, really, Paris Campbell has the best matchup because the outside corners for Seattle are okay. And so, really, he's going to get the best matchup as well. So, I mean, Paris Campbell is definitely in play. I know that, there's question marks with him considering the injuries that he's had. And, are you going to be able to trust him? But I think that, we saw him in just limited opportunities last year. I mean, the first game he was targeted 9 or 10 times. And so he's definitely in play this week.
Agree with that as well. Hey, while he's healthy, plug him in. Got a question from Raylan. We're not talking Beyonce or Rihanna just yet, but we need a RB for the season. Are we looking at Hines, Gordon, McKissick, Tyson, or Drake?
I mean, for the season, I would cross off Melvin Gordon because I just think Javonte is going to take that job. And honestly, Javonte could take that job today. Like it very well could be him and as the guy. And so to me, it comes down to, I would assume this is PPR when we're talking about McKissick and Hines. I still think it's probably Tyson at this point. And then from there, I think I would say Nyheim Hines.
Agreed. Yeah. I'm really close between Hines and Tyson there. I think Tyson, there's a big unknown, right? Like that's another game that we could talk about. Excited to see. Is this Ravens team going to have to lean on the pass a lot more? Are we firing up, obviously Mark Andrews, but Marquise Brown? Is Lamar going to have to just throw that many more times because they've lost their entire running back room, right? So if Tyson Williams, who has no carries to his name, Latavius Murray, who was signed 2-3 days ago, that Ravens game will be pretty interesting to see how they move the football on Monday against the Raiders.
Yeah, and they came out and said they're going to give Williams basically every chance to fail. They're going to give him all the opportunities. So I think for the season, you've got to roll with the guy who has the clear path to workhorse touches, and I think he's probably in the best offense for running backs anyway. Like if Jonathan Taylor goes down, Hines isn't going to be the guy. He's going to get some more opportunity, but I think I'm rolling with Williams there. Question here from Ned: full PPR, Debo or Cooks at flex?
I'm going Debo.
I'm going Debo as well.
Yeah, I mean, we know this, that Cooks is just your safe. And answering a couple questions this morning, I just feel like Cooks is super safe for probably 10 to 12 PPR points. But I think with Debo's matchup, Matty actually in the cornerback wide receiver matchup really highlighted how good of a matchup Debo has in this game. And I think that makes you a little bit excited for the upside for Debo. We know he's really, really good after the catch. So I probably would go Debo unless you're just like, hey, I'm leading. I just want to save 10 to 12 points. But I'd say most scenarios are going Debo.
Yeah, I think the only worry with Debo is just game script. You know what I mean? Like if they get up and they kind of just park the bus, so to speak. But other than that, I really like the matchup. I'm leaning Debo here because we just don't know what to expect out of that Houston offense. I mean, we're talking about Tyrod Taylor, for God's sake. Like I'm just staying away from that in general if I can. Scott Youngers, Swift or Robbie Anderson for flex PPR league?
I mean, this should be Swift. I think if you're talking about PPR, Swift has an opportunity to probably get pretty close to the same amount of targets as a Robbie Anderson could in this game. But, man, I just love this matchup for Robbie Anderson. And I'm struggling with someone's similar one where it's Carson versus Robbie Anderson. And I definitely think Robbie Anderson can find the end zone. But Swift, even though the matchup is tough, I think he can match Robbie Anderson's target volume. He could probably get 6 to 9 targets in this game. And so if you talk about his rushing floor on top of that receiving ability, I think you have to go Swift, but I don't think Anderson's a bad start at all. I could go either way.
I'm going to lean Swift there, like you said, just because of the target upside in that matchup. And if you live in a state where you have gambling and props available to you, DeAndre Swift's receiving prop is only 20.5 yards. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
and that's only up from 19.5. So
What?
Yeah,
What?
that's it. So definitely going Swift on that one as well. I think Anderson maybe has the higher ceiling because you could see him go 4 for 110 and a touchdown. So I think his ceiling might be higher, but I'm going to lean Swift on that one. Max Clapp, Jacobs or Davis PPR? This is Davis for me.
Yeah, I think so. It's a bad script for Josh Jacobs. It's just not a great script going against the Ravens, who aren't very.
And
go ahead.
Sorry, and Incognito is out, so they are starting 4 new linemen on that line going up against the Ravens. And it seems like Jacobs, he wasn't getting the PPR work to begin with last year, and now they added Kenyon Drake into the fold. So
he's really tough. If he had a better matchup this first week, I could maybe have a little bit more confidence starting him. But you just hit the nail on the head. The offensive line questions, just the Raiders questions in general, every single week it seems like. Kenyon Drake questions. What's that usage split? Not catching passes compared to Mike Davis, who will probably catch 3 to 4 or 5 balls. So I'll go Mike Davis.
If you're rocking with us for the first time, would really appreciate you guys if you hit that subscribe, hit that like button if we're helping you out at all, if you're enjoying the content. We will be with you guys until 12:30 answering all of your start-sit questions. Justin Young, Fant or Gesicki, full PPR?
Kev?
It's Fant for me.
Yeah, it's close. It's really, really close. I like Gesicki probably more than most people this week. I think he'll be a little bit more involved with Will Fuller out. I think they have to throw a little bit more to the tight end, given the corners. Well, given the one corner that Patriots are rolling out. So I like Gesicki, but it's very close. They're separated by a spot or two.
I think Gesicki probably sees more targets. This is close. I would lean Gesicki just by a smidge.
Kev, as the DFS guy, I want to ask, do you think Bradbury is covering Sutton? Is he covering one side of the field? Or because what I'm worried with this Broncos offense is that they're going to be a run-first team to begin with, and then you have Judy, who I think is going to be good this week. You have Sutton, and then you have Fant, and I just don't know how all of that works out. And so I guess James Bradbury is probably a big piece of that, and maybe that helps out Fant a little bit more. But curious your thoughts on the matchups there.
I don't think you're going to see any sort of like shadow in anything like this. I think you see them just kind of play their sides. I will say this, I think the Giants defense is also being underrated a little bit as well. And I think this game is going to be much closer. So this isn't a situation where I feel like that teams are going to be able to just run the ball the entire game and not be able to, not have to really open up the offense any. And I mean, Noah Fant feels like a guy that Teddy Bridgewater would lean on anyway. I mean, Teddy Bridgewater is not a guy who's going to be throwing the ball deep, which I think ends up hurting Cortland Sutton. And I don't think that's something that's been talked about enough, because Cortland Sutton is much more of the deep threat, where I think that opens things up for Noah Fant and Jerry Jeudy. I absolutely love Jerry Jeudy this week. I think he gets peppered with targets, but I also think the same thing about Noah Fant. And so for me, I would just prefer to play Noah Fant over Gesicki, because I just think the target upside is a little bit higher.
Yeah, it's close. I'm fine with either. I think Robbie and I just lean Gesicki just by a smidge. Justin has another question here: Carson or Boyd, full PPR for the flex spot?
You can make it.
It's Carson.
Yeah. You can make a good case that Boyd will just be peppered a lot in this game. You can see a 7 for 70, potentially a touchdown in there. Not a huge touchdown guy, but I think you got to go Carson here. Should have most of the workload there in an okay matchup. I think we haven't seen Carson for so long, so we forget how good he is when he's healthy, but he's a top 12 back when he's healthy most weeks. So I think you got to go Carson here. What does the Boyd truther say? Are you agreeing with us? You were quiet there.
I'm already outvoted, so it doesn't matter. We'll just move on. We'll just move on to the next one. But I do think in a full PPR, Boyd is intriguing there, just because, like you said, the amount of targets that he should see, like what I was talking about with Higgins and not having those plays develop and everything else like that. I think Boyd is a safe bet there as well. But I Carson's good, a good play there too, because just the touches he's going to get. Another here from Justin: A-Rob, Claypool, Davis, or Cooks, full PPR.
Allen Robinson.
Man, only play one of these dudes. Man. Yeah, it's going to be A-Rob.
Same for me. One more from Justin: Higgins, Monty, Claypool, Myers, Devonta Smith, full PPR in the flex.
Ooh.
This one's closer than it should be, but it's still T. Higgins for me. It's actually not Monty's not involved in this. It's either Higgins or Devonta Smith.
It's
I don't
Devonta
love
Smith
this.
for me.
I don't love this game for David Montgomery going against that Rams defense, especially with. Like what I feel like is what feels like more likely is that they're just going to get boat raced in this game. And while yes, I think David Montgomery is definitely going to be involved in the passing game this year, I just don't know if the volume is going to be high enough to be able to get him over somebody like Devonta Smith and T. Higgins, who are both in great spots today, and both games I think have relatively decent chance to shoot out. And so where I just don't think that comes into play for this Rams and Bears game tonight. So I would lean Higgins. But I think it's close because I like Devonta Smith a lot as well.
Yeah, give me Higgins. I've been on record saying I think the Bengals are going to throw 40 times in this game. I think they're just going to have a lot of volume. I like Boyd. I like Higgins, so I'll take Higgins.
Yeah, I like Smith. I just think he has the best matchup there. Noel joining us had a rough start this week on Thursday night. Started Zeke, had AB on the bench, and played against Gronk. That's rough. That is a rough start, especially going against Gronk, and then the start sits that you made there. But let us know if you have any high upside guys that we could help you swing with in your lineup there. Joseph wants to know Higbee or Goddard.
It's Goddard for me.
Yeah, I'll go Goddard as well.
Clean sweep there. And then what about Pittman, Jerry Jeudy? Two of your guys, Kev. Who you rolling with here?
That one's tough. It's Jerry Jeudy. I want to go with Jeudy here.
Man, I like them both. I like them both this week.
I do too. I like them both a lot. But I'm just gonna go with Jeudy.
I think. Well, maybe Cody might not, but I think all three of us probably have Jeudy higher. But Cody, you've always been pretty high on Pittman coming into the season. So who would you go with here?
This is tough. I love Jeudy this year in general. I think the matchup leans Pittman's side. I would take Pittman here, but it is close. I mean, T.Y. Hilton not playing, rotation at tight end. Nyheim Hines will be involved slightly, but I think Pittman is going to be the guy. He's cheap in DFS as well. Maybe not like a high ceiling play, but I think he has a pretty solid floor. So I would lean Pittman here.
Yeah, I think we just have to reiterate from Wednesday's show the corners facing opposite of Pittman that Seattle has are horrendous. So I think you're correct in the matchup part. Pittman definitely has easier corners to face.
I think we could potentially see Indy throw a little more than what Denver might. I look at that Denver Giants game. I just see like slow pace, not a lot of plays. You know what
Very
I mean?
gross.
A Jason Garrett game, is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, I mean on
Jason
both
Garrett,
sides of the ball.
Fangio.
Yeah. So I would lean Pittman here. I think Indy is, like I said, going to throw a little bit more, and I think the matchup leans in his favor. But we all love Jeudy as well. So Pittman for me, Jeudy for the two of you. Raylan, one wide receiver, one flex. Anderson, Cooks, Mixon.
Robbie Anderson and then Joe Mixon.
Yep.
Same for me. Oh, it is, JJ. You best believe it is week one. Appreciate all of you rocking with us. Any questions, throw them in the chat. I know we're running a little behind, but we'll get to these as soon as we can. Corey Davis or Marvin Jones Jr. from Polo.
I know you guys were higher on Corey Davis than I was when we talked on Wednesday, but I really want to go Marvin Jones here. I do think he probably leads this team in targets. Man, the Texans is a team you want to attack defensively. I like Marvin Jones in this matchup against Corey Davis.
Kev?
It's still Corey Davis for me. I like Marvin Jones. I have Marvin Jones just outside once updated my rankings yesterday. I have Marvin Jones just outside of a wide receiver 3 this week. I have him at 37, but I still have Corey Davis holding strong at 30. I just love this game, and I quite honestly just don't know really yet what to expect from Urban Meyer and this offense.
Yeah. Yep.
And while yes, I definitely agree that the Texas defense is by far, and I don't think it's close, worst defense in the league. And they just continue to get worse as they continue to trade off their pieces.
Yep.
But I think there's enough other weapons there. You know, with having James Robinson, do they just run James Robinson, 25 times today and not really open the offense?
Carlos Hyde, 15.
Carlos
Hyde is going to get 15 carries. It's just going to happen.
Stop. If they do, they need to fire him immediately. But I mean, Carlos Hyde's going to have a role in this offense. Let's make no mistake about it. I've come to terms with that. But he better not be coming out here, splitting touches with James Robinson. But whatever. But so for me, I think it's Corey Davis. I think that game is one of the games that I think really has some potential to truly shoot out, where where a lot of fantasy points come in on it. And without Jamison Crowder there on the Jet side, I think that helps things to make things a little bit more consolidated in terms of who's gonna get the targets. I also think Elijah Moore, I think, is also definitely 100% in play today as well at people that drafted him and have him on their bench.
Yeah, a couple of these same questions. It's Corey Davis for me as well. I think he's just a little bit safer in terms of his role and the targets he's going to see. I wouldn't be surprised if Marvin Jones outscores him, just breaks off a long one. But like Kev said, I'm staying away from that game just in general. Give me Davis there. Are you guys starting Claypool over either of those guys?
I'm going Claypool there. Yeah.
Yeah, I really like Marvin Jones this week, but I don't think I can do that. That's probably a tinge too far. Claypool.
I would go Davis there as well. Bars in the Tuck, good morning. Happy football Sunday to you. 2-quarterback league, Hurts locked in. Good call. Do I go Burrow or Wentz? He does have Higgins. We'll go with a little stack there. Or do we like Wentz in that matchup? I'm going to go Wentz, just matchup based on that one. But how do you guys feel about these two?
This was tough because so initially in the week, my mind was same thing with Dak, right? Same thing I thought with Dak. I was like, well, I just don't know what to expect from him. I don't know how he's going to look, and that I was like, okay, I was wrong. I'm a man who will always, if I am wrong on something, I will admit it. I will not hide from it. I was wrong on Dak on Wednesday night. No doubt, 100%. And I'm happy to be wrong on Dak because I love that offense this year, and I love the pass catches they have and everything else, the fantasy upside. And he clearly looked great against one of the best offenses. And so now it has me like, okay, maybe I shouldn't be as worried about Joe Burrow because this is things that we don't really know. Like, it's just all assumption of how he's going to look or, what his mental mindset is and all that stuff. And so Burrow is really close because I do like both of these guys this week. I would probably lean towards Wentz, but it's really close. I don't hate it. I think Burrow has the better weapons, obviously, in a game that they're definitely going to be trailing, and so I can see the Burrow side of it as well because that's what we want. We want our quarterbacks to throw the ball, and and where Wentz, I could see where it's a little bit more managed, and you see Jonathan Taylor get 20 touches today, and where I just don't think. You can say that on the other side. I would be shocked if Cincinnati got out to a big lead and they were able to just kind of milk the clock.
Yeah, Kev, glad you said that because I've been the one that I haven't really been worried about Burrow. The reports that we got that kind of scared us was all the way back early August. And so I think when you talk about the matchup against the Vikings, you're right. They're going to be throwing again, I'm going to hammer it this entire show. I think the Bengals throw 35 plus, 40 plus times. So I like a Higgins stack with Burrow. I think he's a top 10-ish quarterback when he's healthy, and I do think he's healthy. Going back to last year, that's where he was. So you can't ask for much better of a matchup. I'm going to go Burrow.
Another quarterback question here from Yvette. Ryan or Tanny?
That's Tannehill.
Tannehill.
Tanny for me, their full sweep. Oh, sorry, JJ, skipped over this one. Davis, Hardman, or Debo?
Corey Davis.
I'll go Debo.
I'm gonna go Corey Davis on this one, but Debo is a close second. Like I just the volume is the one thing that might scare me away from Debo there, and you don't have that question with Corey Davis.
It's very fair.
Walito needs 3 RBs here. Saquon, Jones, Najee, Montgomery. First 3 for me.
Yep.
Gangsta boy, YT joining us. Struggling to choose who to start, Callaway or Devonta Smith. That should not be a struggle. That is 100% Devonta Smith.
Yes, it is.
It's like I like Callaway today. Like I really do. Like I am not of the mindset where I know the easy answer with Callaway is just terrible matchup. It's not a terrible matchup because there's zero chance in hell that Jair Alexander is going to shadow him. It's just not going to happen, right? He hasn't done it the last 11 games in a row. It's not going to start today. And so there's no real worry there with that, right? And so the rest of the secondary here, he's the only guy in town. Like, he really is. He's probably going to see 15 targets today. Like, that's definitely in the range of possibility, right? So I guess what I'm saying is, because it is definitely Devonta Smith, but what I'm saying is I think people shouldn't be as worried about Marquez Callaway that you hear from people as I think people should. He's definitely in play as a flex. I'm not really all that concerned about all that. And this is, again, a game that they're going to have to throw the ball a ton.
It's definitely the more risky play because 15 targets would be the absolute crazy, fantastic game that everyone hopes that you saw from the preseason. More likely he's in the 7 or 8 range. And you could see him not being used as well, or they take some deep shots and they don't land, right? So maybe he does get 9 or 10 targets. He's a down the field guy. They only complete 4 of those, right? Like there is that chance that, sure, he gets the targets, but does he connect with Winston? So he definitely has the much lower floor, I would say. If you want to do the upside play, you want to call the upside play, I would say that Callaway is the higher upside play. But I don't know if that risk reward is worth it in this comparison to Devonta Smith for me.
And what I'm saying is it's not so much about this question. It's more just about in general, is I guess what I was trying to say. Sure. Is that it's definitely Devonta Smith. Great matchup and, great game script and everything else that they're going to be in. Like, it's definitely Devonta Smith, but I was just talking about more generally Marquez Callaway, because I've been hearing a lot of it's a terrible matchup. Can't play him at all this week. And it's just, that's incorrect.
Smith or Pittman?
Pittman for me. They're close, but Pittman.
I think Pittman sees more volume, so I'm going to lean Pittman there as well.
Having a hell of a time over there.
Yep. Have my wife and my child just hopping through like frogs through my house, and the child is loving it. Kev, Smith or Pittman?
I'm going to go Smith.
Sim Brewski. Man, we need a wide receiver 2 out of these: Davis, Anderson, Pittman, Callaway, Jacoby Myers.
Some solid options here. I'm going to stick with probably the most proven guy and the guy with just a fantastic matchup. You can do the revenge game narrative if you're into it. I'm going to go Robbie Anderson.
Cap, who do you like out of this group?
I'm going to go Michael Pittman.
I mean Pittman as well. I think Anderson is the upside play, though, for sure. Look, if you're looking for safety, I'm going Pittman. If you're looking for upside, I'm going Anderson. Jay is joining us. Just Jay. Happy NFL Sunday to you as well, Jay. Tomb King needs 2 for running back and flex PPR: Swift, Henderson, Harris, and Tyson.
So I don't. So we got some of this news since we last spoke. Where do you guys stand on Tyson Williams now? Like, do you at least for today? Like, where do you guys have him ranked? Let me ask that. It's a much quicker question.
He's probably right outside running back 2. I think I have him like 27-ish. I'd have to go back and for sure find out, but he's right outside running back 2. So he's going to be behind in the rankings, behind Swift, Harris, and Henderson for us. I know you have Henderson lower, Kev, but Tyson Williams would be behind these 3 guys for me in the rankings.
So then for you, I guess in this question, it's Swift, Henderson, and Harris.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting down to where Harris is going to be really close to Tyson. It's just there's so much unknown with Tyson Williams, right? How much did Latavius Murray get for a run? Cody, you said at the top of the show, they're going to give Tyson Williams every chance to fail, but they're going to probably split the work. It's not going to be a 70-30 split, I don't think, by any means. I think it's going to be a 60-40 with Lamar obviously rushing quite a bit as well. So I just don't know how talented this guy is. And so it's hard for me to trust that when I do think there'll be opportunity. I do think it's an okay matchup against the Raiders. I don't know him as much as I know these other guys. So I will have him below all 3 of these other guys.
I'm sitting Darrell Henderson. That's what I'm sitting.
Yep, figured.
I think out of that group, I'm going to sit Henderson as well. Just fewer questions about with that group. I think Henderson probably has like the most questionable matchup. Because what if the Rams just go full, Dallas Cowboys, Buffalo Bills mode and just say, screw the run game. We're just going to sling it 40 times, no matter what. I think with the other guys, you don't necessarily have that sort of question. It's close, but I'm also going to set Henderson out of this group. Yes, would appreciate all of the likes, all of the subs. Appreciate all you guys rocking with us because still got another hour with you guys. Any quarterback touchdown props? I didn't look at any of these, Porsche, to look into those.
Porsche, real quick, Porsche, jump in the Discord at Tom Corson at Dynasty Infidel. Ask him on the props. He'll throw some at you. He has all of those in his head.
I tend to stay away from any touchdown props, unless I'm just swinging for fences and going super long odds. Like I said, I didn't even really look at any of those. Noel needs 2 receivers and a flex. We got McLaurin, Kupp, Higgins, Henderson, Callaway, Gordon, Myers.
A phone.
And a phone. It's hard to sit McLaurin here. I think McLaurin's probably going to be your top option. And then pretty close between Kupp and Higgins. I'll be higher on Higgins than most people, but I still will go Kupp and then Higgins in the flex.
I definitely agree. It's McLaurin, Kupp, and Higgins.
Yeah, first 3 for me as well. First defense question of the year: Jags or Panthers?
Panthers. I'm probably higher on the Panthers defense than you two guys. I think a lot has changed from last year. I think they're much improved, and they were middle of the road defense last year anyways. I like their matchup against the Jets offense that I don't think will be all that good week 1. It's going to be Panthers for me.
I'm going with the Jags.
Yeah, I mean, flip a coin. Probably lower points in that Jags-Houston matchup. So I would lean Jags there for me. Will Michael Carter get enough playing time to get 2 catches at plus 156? I like Walino said, I wouldn't bet on it. I just don't know what to do with that rotation. And it seems like at least for week 1, Carter is probably the odd man out of that trio. End of season, I think Carter ends up making a dent in that. And he's the RB2, 1B back. But for week 1, at plus 156, it's fine, but I wouldn't bet on it either. Ryan, Burrow, or Fitz?
Burrow for me.
I'm going Ryan. Yeah, I'm going Matt Ryan there. CHB, let us know. Oh, is he worth stashing?
That's Carson's phone. Daddy.
No longer Daddy's phone. Carson's phone. Ferkser in redraft, I don't think so. The tight end, this is a streamer type of tight end. I do not think you need to stash him. No one's rushing out to grab him, most likely. I would not. I'd rather have a wide receiver or running back that you hope hits.
Yeah, I agree. I don't mind him. Like, if he's somebody that, like, I'm not stashing him. Like if you're going to have him, play him. But, I don't know who else you have at tight end. And so that would be the first question I would ask, is because if you have somebody that's solid, there's no reason to hold a second tight end anyway. But if you drafted somebody like, one of the lower end guys and just, and you're also playing that game, I think I would just, I don't think there's any reason to hold them.
Sutton, Terrence Marshall, or Ruggs?
This is closer than it really honestly should be. I'm going to stick with Sutton. I think the Panthers are going to score. Sam Darnold's going to throw touchdowns. It's just, who does he throw touchdowns to? Is it going to be Robbie Anderson, which is probably my most likely option? DJ Moore isn't normally seen as a touchdown guy, only 4 in his last 2 seasons. Marshall is probably that next guy to get a touchdown, but still, I got to go with Sutton. You take too damn long.
It's Sutton. It's Sutton for me. This is one of those situations where, like, I wouldn't be surprised if Marshall outscores him.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a better shot at the end zone. But with all those other weapons there, you're talking about McCaffrey being back. You're talking about the other 2 wide receivers.
Yes.
Is it a good pairing with Teddy B and Sutton? I don't necessarily think so, but I think for week 1, if these are your flex options, you're probably pretty solid across the board. So I'm gonna lean safety there and go Sutton.
Yeah, I'd probably agree. I mean, I don't love it. I actually have Cortland Sutton ranked 40th this week, so but I have the other guys a little bit further down than him. So yeah.
Clyde or Gaskin?
This is
for
Clyde.
Aiden.
Clyde.
All right. You know what I'm saying. Henderson or Robbie Anderson in a half PPR?
I'm going Robbie Anderson there.
Yeah, we just got this question at the top of the show in his PPR, I think. Half PPR, it's closer. Cody, you said Henderson on that first one.
Did I?
I don't remember. I thought I went Anderson. Yeah. You're going to Anderson now?
Yeah.
I think Anderson. It's
I'd like
definitely
to go back
close.
in time and let me erase that. Give me my eraser. Let me fill in option B on this one for Robbie Anderson. Chargers or Colts D?
I mean, I don't really love either of them, but I'll probably go Chargers. We've seen good Fitz magic and we've seen bad Fitz tragic. I'll probably go Chargers here.
I would lean Chargers as well. Probably better chance at a turnover or a couple sacks, whereas with the Colts D. If the Seahawks are actually going to go spread, quick tempo, Russ likes to get the ball out of his hands. I think you might just have the higher turnover upside with Chargers.
Yeah, I'd probably go Chargers. And as you can see in the chat, Zach Moss has been rolled out, which is not. I don't really care about that. I'm still not playing start a Singletary. The Bills don't throw the ball very much, right? Okay, and so
Sermon also inactive,
but Trey Sermon is inactive. So what does that say about your boy Trey Sermon that he's a healthy scratch on game day, on week 1? How is he a healthy scratch?
I don't know. Just got this news right now, so that
Is he a healthy scratch? Is that confirmed?
that would be very, very.
Well, what else would I mean? I don't know what else. I mean, there's been no reports of him being hurt that I know of, and that there was no question mark with him not playing this week.
God, now I need to change my cash lineup.
You got to change a lot of lineups here.
And so now, I mean, Raheem Mostert. I mean,
Yeah,
oh baby, like
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I don't Singletary. I would not be starting. Hopefully, you have a better bench option to start. Not a great matchup for him. The Steelers added to that defense. You know, and instead of adding to the offensive line, they're just going full bore into the defense. I don't. Let us know if you have any other options, but I don't think, because Moss is inactive, that Singletary becomes a must start at all. Tam, our ma'am, Tam, joining us. Good to see Tam back in here. Who'd you plug in to fill a flex spot in a standard league? Gaskin, Hunt, Juju, Judy, Cooks. In a standard league, I'm going to go Gaskin here.
I'll probably go Hunt there. I'll go Hunt.
Kevo, what you got?
I'd go Gaskin, or it'd be Gaskin or Judy for me.
If I picked a second option, it would be Juju. Who would your second option be here? Roberto.
Gosh, the standard just throws this so weird because a lot of these guys are
Yeah.
volume either from the running back side or gosh. I'll probably go Gaskin second. Hunt and then
Gaskin it is. Jay wants to know Tyson Williams or Edmonds in a full PPR.
Edmonds for me. Comfortably.
Yeah.
I would lean Williams just because of volume, but Edmonds is a good play as well. I just like that game in general. I'm really excited to watch that. Is AB in the discussion for just weekly plugs over Robbie, Cooks, and Claypool?
Yeah,
Probably.
the one thing that I'm starting to see, though, is that, which I guess, I mean, I should always expect this doing this long enough, that people are acting like Mike Evans is dead, and like that's just not the case. My biggest fear, and what proved out to be what I think is going to be a continuation of every single week, is you're not really ever going to feel like great about starting any of them, because what we just saw from Mike Evans can happen to any one of these guys on every week, right? Where there's definitely going to be weeks where Mike Evans goes off and then Chris Godwin doesn't do anything, and then Antonio Brown doesn't do anything, and Mike Evans, like, it's just going to be a revolving door of this because this offense is so good. Not saying that you're not going to play them, obviously, but that's just what we saw from Mike Evans. People are going to already are acting like Mike Evans is dead, and I think that's a big time mistake because he's definitely going to bounce back probably next week, and so like this is the buying opportunities. The same thing with Zeke. Zeke is in the same boat.
Yeah,
I just continue to see all these people talk about Zeke like he's dead, and I'm like, what are we talking about? They didn't run. I was like, they knew the Bucs run defense is the best in the league, right? So from a game plan perspective, what they did was absolutely perfect. And we're like, okay, well, we're just not going to run the ball. We're going to throw the ball. And that was a smart game plan. That's exactly what they should have done. But people are pretending like Zeke is dead, which is just ridiculous. So this is a great buying opportunity this week to try to buy Ezekiel Elliott on the low and Mike Evans.
Tyson Williams or DJ Moore in the flex for Steven.
Yeah, this is not close at all for me. This is DJ Moore for sure.
I'm going DJ here as well. The famed Tiger. Pick 3 in a PPR. Diggs, Chenault, Davis, Debo, Anderson.
So Diggs is a lock. We don't have to worry about that. And then I'm going to go Corey Davis and Robbie Anderson.
Same 3 for me as well.
Diggs, Robbie Anderson, Debo.
Or no, let me. Actually, it'd be Diggs, Chenault, and Corey Davis is what it would be for me.
So we all three have different answers. So I have no idea how my child just found YouTube on my phone.
It does look like it's a healthy inactive for Sermon. I thought maybe it was a tweak something in warm-ups or something, and they have him as a late scratch kind of thing. But
I don't get it though. Like,
it is being reported as a healthy inactive. They're going to roll with Jermichael Hasty and Elijah Mitchell behind Mostert.
See, we were talking about, it was Elijah Mitchell all along. It was always Elijah Mitchell was always the answer. What happens though? Like, honest question. What happens if Elijah Mitchell just goes off today? Like, or not? Let me pray that he's not going to go off. He's not going to get that kind of. But let's say he gets like 8 carries and he busts off a long one. Like, that's going to be an interesting situation all of a sudden that we find ourselves in with that. It's so
weird. It's so weird. I did not see that coming. All right, let's agree on a second one here. So obviously we agree on Diggs. Let's get a second one here for famed Tiger.
Maybe Corey Davis.
I mean, you two are much higher on Corey Davis than me, so that'll probably be your guys' consensus. I think Robbie is a lock here. I wouldn't mind going Chenault over Debo. I can concede that to Kev. Chenault and Debo are really similar type of players. I think they can go either way there.
Kev, can you agree on Robbie Anderson? Can we get there?
Over what?
Just as a second, can we come to a consensus agreement on Robbie Anderson?
I cannot. Like, because with Robbie, listen, I guess this is my concern with him is that I think he is going to be fighting for targets with Terrace Marshall. We know Christian McCaffrey is going to get his for sure, right? And volume can only go so far. You also have DJ Moore, who I think is probably going to lead the team in targets this year, and I think it's a very real possibility he leads the team in targets today. So then you have Robbie Anderson and Terrace Marshall, and on some small level, Dan Arnold that's going to get opportunities as well, right? I mean, I'm not saying it's a ton, but he's definitely going to be
there.
It is. So how much can you project for Robbie Anderson? I think that's the question.
Well, how much can you project for Chenault?
I think you feel great that he is locked in as the number 2 option. And I think there's a much higher likelihood that they use him and some of the similar ways that they wanted to use Travis Etienne, right?
Kadarius Toney.
That they move him all around the field and they do a bunch of stuff with him. So that's why I like Chenault a lot. And so for me, I have Robbie Anderson ranked 34th. I don't hate him, but I just cannot put him ahead of.
Yeah, I think there's a volume concern somewhere, but I just don't know why we think DJ Moore is the lock to lead in targets. He did not lead last year. Robbie Anderson.
New year, Robbie. It's a new year. Okay.
It is. But I guess I don't know why DJ Moore would all of a sudden jump over Robbie Anderson, unless you think Terrace Marshall is starting to take those routes that Robbie Anderson ran. So I absolutely think there's a good chance that Robbie Anderson actually leads this team in targets, but I like both him and DJ Moore pretty closely. So they're both top 25-ish, top 30-ish place for me.
So for me, it's Diggs, Davis, and Anderson. Kev, who did you say? The first 3?
Diggs, Corey Davis, and Chenault.
And then Robbie, you said?
Diggs, Anderson, Debo.
Okay, so
I think a lot of these guys have opportunities to be worked in quite a bit. So I don't think you have bad options there.
How do we feel about T-Law today? It's a great matchup.
Just fringe QB1. I'd say, you don't have to feel terrible if you're rolling them out starting, but there's definitely better options out there.
Logan Gibson, full PPR, need 2. Barkley, Eckler, Edmonds, and Javonte. First 2?
Yeah, probably first 2.
Kev?
Yeah.
Boba. Elijah Moore, A.J. Dillon, Mooney, or Mike Williams standard scoring?
Hmm. I want to go Elijah Moore.
We haven't got a lot of Mooney questions, and I think this is one where I'll actually lean Mooney.
In a standard?
The standard really doesn't change anything for me with these wide receivers.
Yeah, I mean, touchdowns become more important. And I guess if you're weighting that, then you probably would talk about Mike Williams because of his. I think in terms of just as a red zone target, I think you probably feel the greatest about him. But
yeah, I mean, tough matchup. I don't know if I'm even. Yeah, you're right for touchdown out of these guys, but I don't know if I'm projecting Mike Williams to probably find the end zone against Washington. Maybe I do like Mooney with A-Rob in his tougher matchup where we know A-Rob can still perform, but I think they'll probably turn to Mooney a little bit more than most weeks, given A-Rob's matchup.
No love for Dylan here, just in standard and any kind of PPR. He would obviously not be an option. But any thoughts on AJ Dillon? I like Dillon here in a standard, to be honest. And I'm not an AJ Dillon guy, but we know that running back is going to be some sort of committee, obviously with Aaron Jones getting 65-70% of the touches and the volume there. But I think in a standard, if we're talking about scoring opportunities, that Saints defense is going to be missing some pieces from last year. I think I like Dillon to potentially have the highest touchdown upside out of this group.
No, I'm fine with that. Yeah.
Raymond wants to know, should I be stashing a wide receiver or a running back while having 6 wide receivers and 3 running backs on the team? It would depend on who your options are. Obviously, if you have 6 wide receivers, you might want to look to stash a running back. Your 6 wide receivers are probably solid. But without knowing your options, you could. I'd probably lean running back just because of the balance you have there.
Yeah, if you want to pick up a wide receiver, it's probably you're dropping another wide receiver. You don't need 7 on your team by any means at all. Like you'll likely never look at starting that 7th guy. So running back for sure.
Not only Eckler active, but a full go. So seems like that was just precautionary with holding him out from those 2 practices. Stefan wants to know, pick 2 in a full PPR: Jacobs, Henderson, Barkley, Tyson.
Last 2.
Yeah, last 2.
Barkley, Henderson for me. PPR especially. We know that the Ravens are not throwing to their backs. I still don't know what to expect with Tyson Williams. I'll go Henderson and Barkley.
I'm going to go Barkley and Williams. Good morning to you. For this season, should I stash Sennell, Hollywood, Pittman, Devonta, or Claypool? Pick 2. Pittman and Devonta.
Day.
Stashes and these people are on waivers?
That's what it sounds like. I mean,
Or maybe just to hold.
Yeah. Gosh, Claypool
can we hold all of them?
Yeah. Why are all these people on waivers here? The top 2 for me are Claypool and Devonta. Both of them have really, really, really nice upside.
I would agree with that. I like Pittman too, but
Kevin Rob
David
agree.
Anderson, Myles Gaskin, full PPR.
Full PPR. This will be a spot where I lean Gaskin.
yes.
This child is a maniac. Benjamin wants to know, Deontay Johnson, Woods, or Henderson flex full PPR.
Woods.
This one's Woods for me.
Yep.
Jared K wants to know, Odell or Landry in a PPR.
This is Odell.
Yeah, just your upside.
Let's go.
Is just so much higher with Odell. Absolutely.
The Pug Lord is back. MJ rocking with us. Claypool or Cooks?
This is Claypool. But we've had so much Cook's question. We're going to get burnt. He's going to go for like 5 for 122 or something like that. And
Yeah,
100%.
man. Yep, that's very, very, very likely.
Yeah, I can't. I just can't mess with that game, that team at all right now. I'm a Claypool hater, but I still got to go Claypool here. Trevor is in.
I don't.
Trevor's in a pickle here. Galladay or Chenault, 12-team league PPR. Chenault.
Yeah, Visco.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You guys both want Chenault.
That's right. It doesn't matter. Jay Peakley, Julio, Claypool, Davis, Cooks at the wide receiver 2 spot in PPR.
Everybody has Brandon Cooks on their team. Everybody. This is going to be Julio and Claypool for me.
I think you just need one here.
Oh, for the wide receiver too. Gotcha.
Yeah,
that's Julio.
Julio.
I have Julio top 12 this week.
Emily here with us. Julio or Davis?
Julio.
Mm-hmm.
DJ Moore or Carson, directed specifically at you, Robbie, so don't mess this up.
The reason why is this was a question that I threw out to our listeners in the Discord. I wanted to kind of get their thoughts on DJ Moore versus Carson. It's one I've gone back and forth on a little bit. It's half PPR, which I think helps me lean Carson a little bit more. Even I forget how good he is when he's healthy, and he is healthy. So I am going Carson, Walito. But I love DJ Moore this week.
He's not going off every week, Walito. He's going to be – if you're in a best ball league, I'm fine with it. But have fun plugging him in week week out. It's what Kev calls take lock. And Swift, Swift is healthy now, so there's no real worries. I like Swift. I think I had him at RB 15, 16, something like that.
Hey, Kev, Zach Moss is also a healthy scratch. I thought it might be because he had a little something, I thought, in training camp, but he's also a healthy scratch. These are two very – I can't get over this, guys. Two just very perplexing
week
healthy
one
scratches. Gosh. Like they're having Matt Breida, and then who is their running back 3 that they decide to start over their 2020 third-round pick? Like, this is just –
The Zach Moss one isn't as surprising, but Trey Sermon is very surprising considering what they invested in him this year, and a lot of the buzz that was coming out about him. It wasn't like it wasn't like he was struggling, he was having a lot of trouble. So like for me, like this, that's why it was like if he was banged up, and maybe we'll find out afterwards. Maybe he's dealing with something. We know that Zach Moss has been dealing with something, and maybe they're like, hey, we'll hold off. I'll play him this week. But with Sermon, like I just didn't expect this. I didn't expect that he was going to be a healthy scratch, and we're going to see Elijah, get the start over him, or not the start, but be active over him, I should say.
Question for you guys. I just came across my phone. People are dropping Moss in some of my redraft leagues. If these guys both get dropped which I expect some of them will, in these guys' leagues, do you guys prioritize one over the other?
Okay, Sermon.
Prioritize
Sermon.
Try and get them both. Yeah, I would do Sermon as well.
I do want to. With this being week one, I think we got some other questions, so we should answer those. So we're not leaving people. But I think at least the last 5 or 10 minutes, I think we should have a conversation about players that people should be adding before week one, because this is like the biggest waiver wire week that we're going to see because of just so much uncertainty around some players that we just don't know about. And I think it's not a bad idea to have a conversation about the players that we think people should be adding now ahead of time.
Yeah.
And yes, if Trey Sermon was dropped, you should definitely add him.
Absolutely. Singletary, Claypool, or OBJ coming from Duolingo. Just throwing that out there since obviously Zach Moss is scratched.
It's OBJ.
OBJ for me.
Yeah.
Yep. OBJ.
Emily, we don't know. That was a surprise late scratch inactive that we were not expecting, along with Zach Moss. So hopefully we'll find something out post game of what's going on. Maybe there was like a team violation or something. Like who knows?
Right.
But we're still at a loss for that as well. I really like Sermon in this matchup, and obviously now Mostert is just absolutely wheels up for him. Tonyan or Higbee here for Dylan in a half PPR. I'm
these
gonna
guys
go. I'm gonna lean Tanyan.
Yeah, these guys are really close. You probably have Tanyan as a higher chance to get a touchdown. Tanyan? Question mark?
I just think Tanyan. There were some reports coming out late during training camp that like didn't get a lot of buzz or a lot of hype with it, but they were talking about, last year Tanyan was looking like he was kind of just like a lot of that stuff was like schemed for him, and it was kind of just like, oh, he just was able to execute. And now this year he's looking like he has a full grasp of it. He's being more involved in the offense. So I think I lean Tanyan here just by a smidge. Kev, any disagreements here with Big Bobby T or Higbee?
I would go Tanyan.
Talk Sports wants to know, is Swift a must start? If you have him, you obviously drafted him high. So I think now that he's fully healthy, full go, practicing full all week, and especially in this matchup, I think he is not necessarily a must start, but I'm not sitting him.
Yeah, it's hard to believe. It's hard to imagine you probably have people that are that you would feel great about starting over him.
Yeah. Hunt or Cooks? Flex. Are we finally going to get a Cooks answer here?
Yeah, I'm going to go Cooks.
Not for me. I mean, this I'm not a Kareem Hunt guy at all. But if you're talking about a matchup that he should have work in, we're talking about the Browns playing the Chiefs. This is teed up for Hunt to do something good. Yeah, we could very well get burned, but I got to go Hunt here.
I'm gonna go Cooks here. I'm gonna go Cooks.
You gotta have at least one in your holster, so you can go back and be like, you know what? Hey, I told somebody, A1. I hooked him up. I got him Cooks on that one.
Hashtag hedge life out here. But no, I think with Hunt, like even if he's involved, he's not getting 6-7 targets this game. Like I don't think that the Browns are gonna be trailing that much where they completely just abandon the run. They just go Hunt over Chubb for the entire second half or anything like that. Cooks is obviously the top option there, so I'm going to go. We're finally going to get a Cooks answer, A1. So there you go. First one of the day, so hopefully that doesn't come back to bite us in the ass. Law Dog, Herbert or Cousins?
Herbert has a tough enough matchup, and Cousins has a good enough matchup where they're very close for me. And when they're that close, I'm just going to take the guy with the easier matchup. And I do like Cousins against a very depleted Bengals secondary.
Yeah, give me Cousins there as well.
Full PPR though? Are you switching your answer?
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Herbert.
Hayden wants to know Burrow or Matt Ryan. This one's Ryan for me. We had this one earlier, right?
Yep, something I think Fitz was thrown in here. You guys went Ryan, I go Burrow.
Do we think it could finesse a AB and Claypool or Devonta for Mike Evans trade? I don't know that I would necessarily do that.
I don't like that.
You're giving up too much there. Like there you're giving up a little bit too much.
It's not a bad sell high on Antonio Brown. Not saying Antonio Brown can't do this. Like Kev, like you're saying, I think he can do this a couple more weeks, but they're all going to have some weeks where one's a dud, right? So it's not a bad sell high on Antonio Brown. You just need to shoot higher than Mike Evans. You need to be in the top 12 range. A-Rob-ish, Keenan Allen, A.J. Brown. Those are the guys you need to be aiming at.
Yeah, I mean, let this week play out and see what happens, right? Because this is where most people will overreact. Week one, all this stuff. You're going to see a lot of players get dropped that nobody should that shouldn't be getting dropped. If Marquez Callaway goes out today and has a bad game, he's going to get dropped. If a lot of these other guys that Terrace Marshall and all these those other dudes, like they're going to get drops. And so same thing with your hiring guys. If Allen Robinson doesn't have a great game, he's going to be. It's so much easier to buy a player because right now, I don't think I definitely agree. Selling Antonio Brown now, depending on gauging what you can get for him, is an excellent sell high because I don't know if his value is going to be any higher than what it is right now, right? But we're not just giving away, Chase Claypool in that mix either for Mike Evans, because those two are definitely going to obviously outscore Mike Evans. And I think on a week-to-week basis, there's definitely going to be weeks where Antonio Brown is going to outscore Mike Evans. And so I would lower what you're sending to get Mike Evans, right?
Yep.
You probably just end up doing Claypool for Evans straight up, but then I don't know if I want to do that because I don't want to be faced with a headache of, do I start both AB and Evans? Do I start one over the other? So I think with having AB, you just keep it at that. I guess the only other thing would be like if you're in a league that's like highly active, which for trade wise, which typically isn't how it goes in redraft leagues. If you could like profit and then flip Evans, but I wouldn't want to deal with that headache at all. So although we like Evans as a buy low target, the fact that you already have AB, I would not be targeting Evans unless you can get Evans plus. There's no reason to add on to AB, especially after the week he just had. Boba, appreciate that. Good luck to everyone. We would appreciate all the likes and all of the subs. We will be going live every Sunday morning at 11 doing start sit, and then Wednesday nights at 10 Eastern doing start sits, waivers, all that stuff as well. And then speaking of waivers, we'll also be going live tonight, Sunday Night Football halftime, looking at the first look at waivers for the upcoming week. So we will be back here in 9 hours, 8.5, 9 hours, something like that. But yes, all the likes, all the subs, greatly appreciated, especially if we were helping you out at all, if you're enjoying this content. Jackson Ryan wants to know Mike Davis or Juju PPR.
Mike Davis.
Man, this is a good one. This is a great question. I will probably lean Mike Davis.
Yeah, I think Davis is safer here. I did see something from one of the weather guys, and said like it's the quote unquote worst weather matchup for today is this Buffalo game, but it's nothing crazy. He said don't fully fade it, but it's not ideal conditions either. I think the wind is a little bit high, maybe some rain, but just with that, with as close as they are, just give me Davis there. Tim G, Debo or Sutton in the flex?
Debo for me.
Debo for me as well.
Agreed.
Mr. Wong. Here we go. Should I start Singletary over Jacobs in a PPR?
No.
Not Singletary. I'm looking at, is he saying his other starting running back is Montgomery? I think that's what he's saying. So yeah. I would stick with Jacobs there.
Yeah, I wouldn't start Singletary over either of those guys.
Because honestly, I think, Kev, this is something you were going to say, and then we started talking sermon. Moss being out really doesn't change a whole lot for Singletary. It might give him a couple extra carries, but all they're going to do is just focus on the pass a lot more. Maybe they mix in Breida a little bit more, but I don't think Moss being out adds the 10 to 15 carries that Moss would have gotten to Singletary. It might add a couple, but I don't think this changes Singletary's outlook. He's still going to be the pass-catching running back. They don't run a lot, so I don't think we should do a big change. Maybe he gets bumped up a couple spots, but not a big change for me. Callaway, Devonta
for me.
Yeah. Yep. Dad grunt. I heard it. He wants to say Callaway so bad, but you like Devonta too, and you have him ranked higher.
This is Ayuk.
Appreciate the sub, Mr. Wong, but yes, this is Ayuk for me as well. Would you go Cooks over A-Rob?
No, I would not. So this is again another situation I was talking about. Jalen Ramsey is not going to shadow Allen Robinson. Jalen Ramsey does not really shadow. He's going to play his side. And so Allen Robinson can be moved all around the field. They're going to move him all around the field. They're going to put him into the slot. They're going to put him on each side of the field. And so, while yes, it's not an ideal matchup for Allen Robinson, I'm not as concerned because Jalen Ramsey, like I said, is not going to shadow Allen Robinson. It's just not going to happen. And so, I'm not concerned with as much with that. I'm more concerned with this just overall being a bad matchup for Andy Dalton, because Andy Dalton is Andy Dalton. And I'm just hoping that this is that he is terrible and throws 4 interceptions, and Justin Fields gets the start after this, because that's what should be happening now anyway. So,
Ashton rocking with us. But I like to see those chances. I think if you are a betting man or woman, I would just take the points here. I think it's sitting at 6.5. I think the Steelers keep it close enough that they can cover that spread. Would you put $10 on Mooney getting 50+ yards with a $35 payout? Probably some safer ones you could put. It wouldn't surprise me. One of the things that a lot of people pointed to last year was Mooney just absolutely cooking Jalen Ramsey, but then just being overthrown, underthrown, just the errant passes, and that's kind of been leading a lot of the Darnell Mooney hype train all year, going from last year, just because of what he was doing to Ramsey, just putting him in a spinner. They're going to be playing from behind, 50+ yards, 10 for 35.
He did it 3 times last year. That was kind of, I wanted to gauge, how many times did he do this last year, kind of give us the threshold. It's a risky one, but I do like Mooney maybe getting a little bit more attention this game than he would in a normal game. I don't hate it, because that payout actually makes maybe the juice or the fruit worth the squeeze, or whatever the saying is. I think it's going to be worth it.
Yeah, I don't mind it either. I think he could get there. We're obviously expecting the Bears to have to pass a little bit more in this game as well. And outside of A-Rob, it's Mooney and Kmet for, what I mean? So I think he could get the volume to be able to get there, and we know what he can do as a deep threat as well. Greg has a question here: Gaskin or Pittman in a PPR? This is Pittman for me.
Yeah, it's Pittman. I'm interested in Kev's answer here. Kev, do you have Gaskin over Pittman in a PPR, or are you siding with Cody and myself with Pittman?
This would be Gaskin.
Yeah, I thought you might.
I don't love the matchup with the retooled New England defense, with the pieces they brought in, with the guys they have coming back who opted out last year. I think Pittman just has obviously Gaskin has the higher overall touch upside just from the position he's playing, but I like Pittman in his matchup better than Gaskin. Tam has a question here: RBs are Eckler and Chubb. Flex is Gibson, but with this news, would you pull out Gibson and start Mostert?
Oh, Lord.
That is very interesting.
God.
If we're talking about matchups, it doesn't get much better than Mostert going up against Detroit with with Sermon inactive. Kev, I know you are the Gibson truther here among us, leading that hype train. Is this something that you would consider with this news?
I think you have to, at least for this 1 week. Just because I'm not in love with this matchup against the Chargers. For Washington, it's close, because I could also see a scenario where Mostert still only gets 12 touches, right? And there's no reason to really run him into the ground, and especially someone has been as injury concerned as he is. The problem is that he's so explosive that him ripping off an 80-yard touchdown is well within the range of possibility for Mostert, right? And so it's a tricky situation, right? Because I think I would still. I think I would. I think. I don't know. Fuck me.
This one is. I don't even
This
want
one's
to answer
tough.
this one, but let's do. This might help us. Let's find out where Raheem Mostert with the Sermon News, where that ranks him in. I'm just going kind of down up the scale here. Mostert or Chris Carson?
Mostert.
Carson.
Okay, so a little bit split there. Mostert or James Robinson?
Robinson.
Mostert.
Mostert or Clyde?
Clyde.
Okay, and I have Antonio Gibson right there with Clyde, kind of at the back end of running back one territory. I have Harris, Gibson, Eckler, all kind of right there. So I think that's that cutoff, right? He doesn't quite jump into that running back one territory. I think he's more around the Carson, Robinson, Sanders for me. So yeah, even though Mostert looks like the man, it is tough to sit him after that news, but he doesn't touch these other guys for me yet.
Yeah, I'd probably lean with what you got. I wouldn't. Yeah, I think it's really close between Mostert and Gibson. And really, I guess you could probably consider Eckler being involved in that situation too. But with the slight concern of the injury and everything that he had earlier in the week, but and this Washington defense being absolutely phenomenal. So
I would say this: if Tam, if you went up against one of those Thursday guys, went up against like Cooper or something, I think if you're swinging for upside, I would make that switch. Like if you're just trying to, just swing for the fences, I would make that switch. But if you feel okay about your matchup and you just want to go with guaranteed touches, I think you could keep Gibson in there. But Mostert is definitely the home run swing to slide in. That is closer than it should be. That is way closer than it should be.
Is there any reason to look at him over Chubb? We looked at their matchup versus Kansas City in the playoffs. Chubb goes 13 for 69, only has 2 receptions for 4 yards. We're looking at them facing the Chiefs again, probably more of a hunt game. Is it wild to say you could play him over Chubb given the matchup? I'm just looking for a way to try.
I think Chubb's fine here.
Okay.
I think if we're not sitting Gibson for Mostert, I think you could lean Eckler.
Eckler's not one, and unless this is a standard. Eckler's a guy that I'm not looking at benching just because of his involvement in the past. I don't care who the defense is. A good defense could mean more work for Eckler. I think Eckler is very, very safe, assuming he's healthy, assuming he's getting his normal complement of snaps.
Lucius joining us. Good to see Lucius back in here. Zach Moss is out. Need a flex in a deep league, half PPR. We need Tevin Coleman, De'Ami Brown, or Galladay. Oofta.
Galladay has fallen if he's in this range. I will go Galladay here.
It is Galladay, but I think De'Ami Brown is somebody that people should be. If you have deep benches, I definitely think he's worth a stash. With the Curtis Samuel news.
If this is deep, would you potentially look at like Adam Humphries for today?
I do like Humphries over De'Ami this first week. I do
not
like
over
that
Galladay
call.
though.
Not over Galladay, correct?
Yeah.
My God. Yeah, Galladay.
How far do you push him down? How far do you push him down, Cody?
I think
he's in the basement.
I'm not letting him out either. I'm locking that fucking door, putting the 2x4s up. He's staying down there.
Giving him the Call of Duty, giving him the Cheetos. Stay down there.
I don't think Curtis Samuel really had I saw everyone talk about like McLaurin rocket ships, McLaurin to the moon with the Samuel news. It didn't really change that much for me to be completely honest. Like obviously it could, in theory open up more targets for him, but he was always going to be the unquestioned guy here. Like that didn't really change all that much for me. I'd be nervous going up against McLaurin any week, but it wouldn't necessarily be on the back of Samuel hitting IR, to be honest. But
yeah, that's the big thing. When these people miss, it's not like all of their work goes to the other guy. It's the kind of same thing we're saying with Singletary, right? And all this work isn't just going to the other guy. It's going to be spread around. Does Cam Sims get in there? Adam Humphries. So I like Humphries. Yeah, exactly.
I think that potentially opens up more for him than it necessarily would with McLaurin.
Exactly.
Brian Mitchell has a question here. J.D. McKissick or Singletary for the flex spot, full PPR. First year doing fantasy. Welcome in. Glad to have you, Brian.
I might go Singletary here.
Yeah,
because I don't think their reception totals will be all that different. Now, if McKissick is playing with Alex Smith, yeah, he can get 8 to 10 targets. Now he's playing with Ryan Fitzpatrick. I think their receiving totals could be very similar, and then what Singletary will give you on the ground will just make him a better bet for me than McKissick.
Yeah, I think Singletary's safer, and obviously he always, was more the pass catching back over Moss anyway. I think with him being out, that opens up a couple extra touches for him. I would go Singletary there. Singletary.
Joshua Kelly's also out. Just to note, that doesn't change a lot of what we were thinking, but just for who's also there with Eckler, probably a Justin Jackson and then Larry Roundtree.
Is Roundtree active too?
I'm scrolling. Gallman's out. P. Ryan's out. Benjamin's out.
Let's. I have a full list here of the inactive. So let's go through these last couple of questions, and then
Yep.
I'll rip off some of them. Roberto Davis was always worth a start. I know we differ a little bit with Kev in terms of the Wayne Gallman worry, but week one it was always Davis in a good matchup. You can feel comfortable starting him. Swift or Higgins for the flex from Clamped. Good to see Clamp back in here too. Let's go.
It's probably it's Swift. I love Higgins this week, but I got to go with Swift.
Swift is safer
for me as well. Davis or Edmonds here for Roberto.
Mike Davis over Edmonds.
Yeah,
I'll stick with Davis. I do like Edmonds. It's going to be a very high scoring game, but
yeah, it's really close.
Very close.
Denver or Washington D
Denver.
here for the newcomer.
Denver.
Yes, Denver. Much higher chance at turnovers there with Danny Dimes. And like I said, a game where we're not expecting a lot of points to be scored at all. Gage, Callaway, Monty. Gav, this is right up your alley, buddy. Who are you going with here?
When I first saw it, I saw Russell Gage and Callaway. I'm like, yes, got a Callaway one. Get a sick Callaway. And then I see David Montgomery, and I'm like, fuck. No, it's David. I'm going to go David Montgomery.
Monty for you as well?
Yeah, correct. Yep.
Tam, did I miss that? So I think basically what we came down to is it is very close for this flex question. If you're swinging for upside, if you're just going for full upside, swinging for the fences, I think you could switch out Gibson for Mostert, but I don't think you have to with your other two starting running backs. I think your other two guys are in great spots. Unless you ran into a buzzsaw on Thursday night, ran up against Cooper or something, I think you keep this as is. That's where we landed on that.
Yep.
And as far as Fitzpatrick, I would rather start Sam Darnold, Matt Ryan, who are both widely available over Fitz this week, going up the matchup that he has.
Yep.
Cole rocking with us. Juju, Swift, or Jones at flex?
Swift.
Swift here for me as well. Andrew joining us. Higgins or Davis in the flex?
Higgins, and I hope that Corey Davis stands here. Go Higgins as well.
Oh yeah, that's Higgins.
Callaway or Des Bryant? You wish that Des Bryant was on that team right now, Walito. You guys got Jack Diddley Dick. Des Bryant would be an upgrade.
Excuse you. No, they do have Marcus Callaway, who is the truth. Okay.
Okay. Hey, we appreciate the expert love there, but
hold off.
No,
whoa,
yeah,
whoa.
I appreciate the love, but I hate the expert. Like, there's no such thing as I don't care who you're talking about. There's no such thing as expert when it comes to fantasy football. I just think there's people that are more what's the way to put it? More
spend more time.
In
Yeah.
tune.
Have no life and spend more time on researching this stuff, right?
Replace everything. Well, keep everything you said, but replace expert with degenerate. I think that would be more accurate.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. So appreciate you joining us. Appreciate the sub. A Machine back. Let's go. Galladay, Swift, Deontay. It is the last two for me.
Yes.
Pick two out of Barkley, Lockett, Elijah Moore, Gaskin.
First two.
It's definitely Barkley. Then it's Lockett and Miles Gaskins for me. I'm going to go Gaskins.
I'm going to go Lockett. Marcus Callaway is my truth. JJ coming through with the super chat. Appreciate that. While Lito hooking it up as well with that super sticker. We appreciate all you guys. If you don't have the cash to throw away, a sub and a like is also much appreciated. And that's free. Doesn't cost you anything, but we appreciate all the support that we have been getting early on. We are on the way to 2K subs. So if you're rocking with us and have not hit that sub yet, please give us a sub as well. Have most of it as a flex, can't help but start them. Also have a wide receiver 2 dilemma, A-Rob or Cup. I'm going to go Cup here.
Yeah. Gosh, I don't like sitting A-Rob, but I really like Cup.
I think with Cup
agree.
you can.
I don't like it either.
I don't like it either, but I think with Cup that, as your wide receiver 2, would you put A-Rob over Mostert in the flex? I don't know if I can do that either.
No, just that you have – yeah. I can't.
Do you think Montgomery can get at least 10 to 15 points?
PPR, yes. Yeah, PPR, he can get that, yeah.
Here we go. Swinging upside. Appreciate the little context there for the upside flex. Do we like Cooks or Clyde?
Clyde.
Yeah, Clyde for sure.
Tanny or Staff? This is Tannehill for me.
Yes.
Same matchup. Miami's D or Patriots D?
Oh, boy.
I think Patriots D at home. Give me the Pats.
Yeah, probably.
I want to go Miami. Rookie quarterback.
I think the Patriots D is stronger overall. Obviously, Miami has the corners who can lock it down, but I just think that with, again, Patriots retooled the additions, the guys coming off of the COVID, I would lean past there at home.
A Machine, take a quarter, toss it in the air. Heads is Patriots, tails is Miami.
Just close your eyes on your phone.
There's that expert advice.
There it is.
that's what you're tuning in for. But yes, we 2-1 on Patriots versus Miami. Yes, JJ, awesome. Brian, appreciate you rocking with us as well. We will be live a lot, so you can always count on us to bring you the content. Also have the Discord that you can jump in and ask your questions throughout the entire week, and we'll always be answering them there as well. Savvy, Davis, Edmonds, Visca at flex and a PPR. Who do we like there?
Davis, we had the Davis Edmonds question earlier. I'll go Davis, but I do like Edmonds as well.
Kev, are you throwing in Visca over either running back here? I'm going to go Davis just for the safety.
Yeah, Mike Davis. I'd probably go Davis and Chase Edmonds.
Andrew, we touched on this a little bit. Seems like the Ravens are going to give Williams all of the opportunity to be the guy. So unless he just completely, fumbles his opportunity and falls flat on his face, I do like Latavius to be the guy over the other running backs that they brought in. We've seen him be more productive more recently. Harbaugh was coming out already saying that he likes Latavius, and it fits the scheme. So I think if it would be one of those guys, it would be Latavius. But Williams is going to have the shot to be the guy there. Pittman or Landry?
Pittman.
Yeah.
Have A-Rob, Woods, and Cooks on my bench. My goodness.
Oh my gosh.
Good for you. Good for you. Do we think Saquon, Galladay, and Deontay for Najee, Amari, and Waddle would be a solid trade? I like Amari over both of those receivers. I like Saquon over Najee.
Then you're going to have Deontay over Waddle. Very, very even trade.
Kev, what do you think here on this trade? You're obviously the Saquon guy. You're a Deontay guy as well. You also love Najee. What are your thoughts here?
I would prefer to keep Saquon.
It's close.
Man, if Waddle becomes something this year, which I think he absolutely can, I think you look at this trade and it could be a win if you take that Najee side. But I might lean that side, but it's very close.
Yeah, that's close. I think no matter which way you go with that one, you're fine there.
Yep.
Need 2 out of Mostert, Monty, and Sanders.
Mostert and Sanders.
Mostert and Sanders.
Same for me. So we need a quarterback out of Fitz. The guys we have available on waivers: Cousins, Burrow, Darnold, Wentz, Garoppolo. So let's get the quarterback first. I'm not starting Fitz with those other options you have available there. I think
he's saying super flex. He's saying super flex position. And does he start one of these quarterbacks or does he go?
Sheep. This is our ma'am Tam. Yes.
Yes. Super flex. Yeah, I'm going Burrow over Fitzpatrick. I'm going Cousins over. So I'd go Burrow, then Cousins. Yep, I'd go Burrow. And Burrow, you can use in future weeks as well.
Yeah, I would go. Yeah, I think you have to pick up Burrow.
I mean, if this is a super flex, there's no way that Burrow is sitting on waivers, right?
I don't think it's a super flex.
I don't think so either. I think we just need a start. So let's hit the quarterback. Who are we starting out of this group? Who do we like the most?
Burrow. It's not that I like that person the most, Burrow the most. I think I would probably maybe look at Darnold or Wentz. But from just it is super flex.
Yeah,
okay.
that's it. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Drop Fitz.
Yeah, you got to get Burrow.
Pick up Burrow.
Yeah.
And I think the other one, for long term, what'd you say?
It's Pittman.
What about the other quarterback spot? Obviously, we're picking up Burrow.
I think you guys are reading this wrong. I think she just has a super flex spot, and she's just trying to fill that one position. It's the QRWT, which means super flex position for week 1. Here's all the options. She could go quarterback, or she could go one of these other positions.
Yeah, it's Burrow. Okay, it's Burrow.
Okay.
And I think Burrow is the option.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a super flex, pick up Burrow, drop Fitz. My bad. Cook's on the bench here for JJ. Yeah.
Oh, that's better.
Leave him there.
I feel much better about that. Gosh, sitting A-Rob and Woods.
Vikings or Miami D?
Vikings.
Choose 2 to start PPR: Visca, Callaway, Smith. Visca and Smith for me.
Yeah.
Yep.
LaVisca or Boyd at flex?
Boyd.
It's Visca for me.
Boyd for me. All right, here are the inactives. Let's run through these. Ahkello Witherspoon out for the Steelers. Obviously, the ones that are going to affect us for the Bills. Zach Moss, we've already talked about that. Nothing with Jags, Texans. Nothing with them. For the Niners, Kinlaw being out hurts. Emmanuel Mosley being out hurts. Trey Sermon, we've already talked about. For the Lions, Julian Okwara, I think, is a hit to that defense. Jets, Panthers, Keelan Cole is out, Kev. Michael P. Ryan and Josh Adams are both out. So the 3 that we were talking about for the Jets running backs, seems to be the ones they're going to rock with. Nothing with the Panthers. With the Cardinals, Benjamin is out, so I think we can feel a little bit better about that going on there. Josh Reynolds is out for the Titans. Dylan Randunes is out for the offensive line. Rashid Weaver out for the Titans defense as well. For the Eagles, Landon Dickerson is out. Ronnie McLeod. Gardner Minshew, big hit there. Gallman out. We already talked about that one. Vikings, Bengals, Cam Dantzler being out hurts. Anthony Barr being out hurts. Christian Darrisaw is out, but I don't think he's really been involved through the he's been out with an injury anyway. Trey Wayne's out for the Bengals. That's obviously going to hurt them on a position that's already thin. Chargers and Washington. Josh Kelly we touched on. Who else we got here? Shaka Toney out for the defense for Washington, so a little bit of a hit to their depth, but nothing that's really gonna hurt them. Seahawks and Colts are the last one here. LJ Collier out on the defensive line. Bless Austin, he was a late addition. Alex Collins, I saw people picking up Alex Collins. Don't do that. And then for the Colts, Eric Fisher out. Xavier Rhodes out. That's a hit for them. Kamiko Toure out as well, so that's another hit to that defense. And outside of that, that is all I have as of right now. Anything that I missed that you guys saw?
You probably said it, but I did want to just note for the 49ers, Javon Kinlaw starting D tackle, and Mosley and Josh Norman, their starting corners, if I remember correctly, are all out. So a little bit more probably excitement starting some of those. Your Swift, your Hawkinson, deepest of league. Tyrell Williams has a shot there now.
Cup or Tyson Williams in a PPR?
Cup, absolutely.
Looks like Walito is. I did not see this. My God, that throws a wrench. Well, if he has a limited workload and he's still involved as the pass catching back, which he should be over Jamal Williams, I think you can still start him in full PPR leagues. Kev, here's one for you: Herbert or Darnold?
I'm gonna go Herbert.
Marco wants to know Judy or Gaskin for the flex.
It's probably Gaskin.
Yeah, Harish, we thought so as well. Literally said he was a full go, practicing full all week. So my God, week one just already just throwing wrenches at us with some of these inactives, and now with that report. Would you start Tyson Williams over Swift?
I would not. They both have their own. They both have. I don't know what that means. What does limited mean? Does it mean is he going to play 60% of the snaps instead of the 50% of the snaps? What does that mean? I don't know.
I would still stick with Swift as well.
Yes.
TJ Hawkinson, yes, must start. You're not going to pick somebody up off of waivers and start him over Hawkinson. That's fine with me, honestly, to only play on third down. I mean, it's kind of his quote unquote role, or what he has over Jamal Williams anyway. Is the the spot where he's going to be performing better than Jamal. Not ideal, but I mean, if he's only starting on third down, they're going to be from behind. So there's no way that they're just going to try and run the ball down, the Niners' throats, being down potentially double digits early. So if he's only playing third down, passing downs, are we still going Swift over Tyson?
Yeah, just for reference here, I've dropped Swift down to about running back 22. So the only guys I've moved him behind: Mostert, Carson, who already was behind, Josh Jacobs, Mike Davis, Darrell Henderson. So he still hasn't, for me, he hasn't hit the Tyson Williams range of player.
Visca, Gaskin, or Jacoby Myers?
This is Gaskin.
Gaskin for me there as well. Barkley or Eckler. My question is, why not both?
Yeah.
Let us know who else you're starting to see why we can't get both those guys in. If I had to pick just one of these guys for week 1, I'm gonna lean Eckler.
Eckler, if you have to.
But let us know your other options there, Dowg. Davis Edmonds, Robbie Anderson. I feel like we've had this or some combination of this question a handful of times. Who are we going with here?
Mike Davis.
Yeah.
Davis has a much safer workload than Robbie Anderson. Yep.
All right, last one here, and then we have some lineups to fill in ourselves. Like I said, I gotta get
Sermon out of all your plays.
Sermon out of a couple of places. Jermaine wants to know Kamara or Adams FanDuel single game.
Kamara, lock it in.
Adams.
Kamara.
Okay, favorite captain. Cav, this is you, big dog. Who you like in
I
that
have
captain
no idea.
spot?
I don't play FanDuel. I hate FanDuel.
You have to assume it has to be somewhat the same as DK, right? If they're calling it a captain spot.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's different. I don't think the percentages are the same and everything else.
Well, there's no bonus, and I think it's half PPR.
Half PPR.
Well, I know it's half PPR, but I just don't know the. I mean, I don't know. I mean, so with showdown slates, like because of how expensive everybody's going to be over there, but I think I know FanDuel is different than what DraftKings is and the way that they do it, but because I mean, like on DraftKings, for example, I would have interest in guys like a MVS, right? Because what he opens up, you can then you play him in the captain spot, and then what it opens up the rest of your lineup, right? Because you're probably wanting to get Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Jones and Devontae Adams into your lineups. And then also on the other side, you're going to want to probably try to get at Alvin Kamara just because of how much it makes sense. But you're not going to be able to do that because how much they cost. So paying down at captain for a guy like MVS who can haul in an 80-yard touchdown or something like that makes a lot of sense. And so when it comes to showdowns, like that's what I would be looking for. But like I said, I think FanDuel is different.
All right, let's run through these. Last one. Harish wants to know Darnold or Winston. For me, this is Darnold.
Yeah.
2 RB, 2 flex. McCaffrey, Eckler. Oh, okay. So this is why, man, to get McCaffrey, Barkley, Eckler, Taylor. What sorcery is this?
Keeper league, most likely.
Right.
Yep, I'm sitting Barkley over below. Well, hold on, flex. He's got JT and Lockett. I close between Lockett and Barkley, but you're probably throwing in Barkley over Lockett.
Cav, Lockett or Barkley?
Barkley.
Who knows? We weren't expecting him to be inactive for this game at all. So
I think you got to hold him. You got to hold on to him right now.
Yeah,
I would not drop him
hold on to him. Would you trade Swift for Gibson?
Yes.
Yes. If you can do that, I would absolutely do that. And
Jermaine, on this, listen, I haven't dug far enough into it. I usually do that in the afternoon, but we will definitely be playing Showdown. I would tell you to look in the description. There's a link for our Discord. We have a DFS channel. We will definitely be talking about the Rams and Bears Showdown and some of our options. Same thing at wide receiver, or same thing. Every showdown slate, we'll probably be talking about it. At least the main ones, the primetime ones. So I'm not trying to give you a cop-out answer, but I have not dug far enough into that to look at that slate to tell you who I would go with at captain. But I would just jump into our Discord, go to the DFS, and we could we'll definitely be talking about it tonight and figure out who those guys are.
For sure. We got this kid running in, crashing everything. We gotta jump out here. Any other questions? Jump in the Discord. We'll get to those. We have some lineups to fix and our own lineups to set as well. So appreciate all you guys rocking with us. Jump in the Discord. We'll answer those questions, or if one of us can jump in the comments real quick as we sign off here. Please hit us with a sub, hit us with a like. We appreciate all you guys. We'll catch you tonight during the halftime of the Sunday night game to look at waivers, the week 2 early look at waivers. So until the next time, appreciate you all. Let's win. Let's get that money. Start with dubs. Let's go.